So today we're gonna talk about the $200 million worth of mistakes that you should not make in your business, because I've already made them in my road to making $200 million in my businesses. 99% of the time, the way this happens is you're like, hey, we have XYZ problem. We're like, all right, we need to make more sales. You're like, okay, well, how are we gonna solve this problem? Well, we can make more products. Okay, awesome. What products sound good? All right, guys, so we're all sitting around the table and it's like, okay, what products do you think? And so we do a brainstorming session. And so we're all sitting around the table and everyone's saying, oh, I like this idea, this idea, this idea. And then we vote and we stack rank the ideas and we say, okay, here's idea number 1, here's idea number 2, and here's idea number 3, and then we're gonna go make these products. The problem with this is that the person who's buying these products is not you or the people that are sitting in the room making the idea. The people buying the product are your customers. The number one mistake that I made was I made decisions about things, anything in your business, right? Decisions about quantities to buy, products to make, content to create, decisions about everything without talking and asking the customer. So I remember one of my first mentors, Russell Brunson, I was like, dude, what products do we make next? He's like, ask your customers. When we talk about asking your customers, there's a few very simple ways that we can do this. Number 1, we can survey them. So we can literally write a survey and say, hey, XYZ customer, we're thinking about what we can make next that's awesome for you. What products would you like us to make? You'll get this amazing list of ideas. You take the ideas and you look for patterns. And so now, instead of guessing at what we think they want, we can actually go and get a pattern of what they want. And so we put them all in a spreadsheet and we calculate it up and like, boom, there we go. And then number 3 is that we do feasibility. We survey the customer, we look for patterns in their responses, and then we go, okay, does this really make sense? So now we sit around the table, we find the problem. We see how much opportunity it has. We see if it's really a feasible idea from a business standpoint. So when you're thinking of any decision to make in your business, whether it's which new product should you launch? Should we provide this service? Should we change the way we do customer service? So when you're making any decision in regards to your customer, you survey and get data from them, because I can tell you right now, I have launched dozens of products, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on employees and costs and overhead on initiatives that completely flop. Another example, one of the most successful programs that we ever launched was our Flavor Drop program. And so we would create one-time limited production flavors of supplements, our bread and butter protein shake. With that, we would do new flavors. We would make a list of like all the most amazing sounding flavors that we thought that our customers wanted. And again, we would send out a survey. And so you can send out a survey on Facebook, email, and if you're like, oh, Brandon, well, I don't have an email list or I don't have a Facebook group and I don't know what to do there. What do I do? Well, you go find a Facebook group that has your potential customers and you go, hey guys, which products on the market right now do you think are the best? Which products are the most exciting to you right now? And make a list of the ideas that you had to make. So you can get feedback from the Facebook group. It's like when you're buying a new car. It's amazing to get a new car and drive it off the lot, but what, you know what's even better is when you get to go online and you get to pick the colors and the stitching and the wheels and you get to do everything in the car and then you pick it up. It's like way more rewarding because you're bought in, you've participated on the process. The key here is that no matter how successful you are and no matter how well you've done, you are not your customer sitting in their shoes with all of their same pains and problems. And so you have to reach out to them, you have to engage them, and you have to get them involved in the process. So what's cool when you do this is not only now that you have them engaged in the process, number 1, you've got the right answer and you don't waste all this time and energy going the wrong direction. But number 2 is all of a sudden, they're now bought in on the process. They've been a part of the process. The mistake that you do not want to make is making decisions about what you think your customer wants, but instead make decisions based on what they actually want because you've asked them. So the next big business mistake on the path to $200 million in revenue that I made was building a castle without a moat. Well, what does that mean? The moat is what protects you from the risk, also called liabilities. For example, under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, there are rules about phone calls and about text messages sending to your customers. And so there's one little itty bitty checkbox that if you don't have when people fill out a form on your website and they don't check that box, this was a $20,000 mistake. Now, this $20,000 in hindsight was a small price to pay for what could have happened if I had been in a different situation. What had happened was I got an email from an attorney and it was like, hey, here's this person's text message, you're violating this act, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whatever, send it to my lawyer. They come back and they're like, this could be a class action lawsuit and this could take your whole company down. Like this literally almost took, at that point, we were doing $30 million in annual revenue. We had 80 employees. I'm talking 80 people's job, 80 families that I'm responsible to feed because of some stupid liability because I didn't have a moat. I didn't understand what the risks were. So this $20,000 was only the settlement because I got a favorable judge and they looked at this interpretation of this rule and it was in my favor. So I got lucky, like by the hair on my chin. chinny chin chin. I literally escaped with my life. The lesson here is, what are the risks or the liabilities that you have in your business that you don't know about? And here's how I feel about this. I think you should spend 5% of your time on this question. This is not something that you need to dwell over. This is not something that you need to spend all this time and energy on, but 5% is a great amount of time to spend. My lawyers are gonna hate that I'm saying this, but you need to only listen to 80% of what they say. Because if you listen to 100% of what lawyers say, you'll be gridlocked because you're afraid to make a move and everything has to be so perfect. So the third business mistake on the road to $200 million that I made that you shouldn't make is lack of focus on the hero product or service. And I can tell you right now, we probably lost $10 million in revenue easily. And so for us at Lady Boss, the biggest company I've built to this point, it was lean. It was our core product. It's what drove acquisition. And so in most companies, what I find is that the ones that start to become successful, there's one product, there's one service that becomes the hero. And if you look at your business right now and you do a SKU analysis, you're probably gonna say, let's say there's $100,000 in revenue. Probably 80,000 here, 15,000 here, and then let's say you have a couple more products. There's probably the rest of the 5,000 is inside of here. And so what we tend to do is go, oh, I've got this product working and selling now. Let's go spend energy trying to get this one to sell. And so the problem with this is now we've spent all this time and energy and money and resources and pain and testing and marketing and messaging and ads to get this product to sell. And as soon as it starts to, we think that the path to growth is to come over here and focus on this product. No, wrong, stop, mistake. Like, guys, I'm down on my knees here pleading with you not to make this mistake. You need to focus on your hero product or service. We spent probably 9 months of our entire team's time launching a series of 5 products, and they did absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden we said, hey, what if we take the hero product, SKU number 1, and we iterate it? We make a slightly different version of that product. What could happen? The result was insane. It was the highest margin sales activity that we ever did, and it was a massive success. So you can see that lack of focus on your hero product or service is a disaster waiting to happen. You divert your energy, you divert your attention, and you spend all this energy making something work, and then we see this shiny highway of flying objects by us and like, ooh, we could make that, or ooh, we could make that. We lose track of what's really driving results and what's really moving the needle. So now you know the path, and now you know the top 3 mistakes that you should not make on your way to make your first 200 million. Number 1, don't make decisions based on what you think your customers want. Make decisions based on what you've asked them and they've told you that they've wanted. Number 2, when you build your castle, don't forget to spend a little bit of your time digging your moat and making sure that the incredible castle of business that you built is protected. And number 3, make sure to focus on your hero product and service. Do not deviate once something becomes working and starts growing. Don't deviate and try a bunch of other things.